This is WICR.
All right, and we are back with segment number 2 here, and we are going to be doing some picks. All right, so with next week being spring break, we are not going to be broadcasting to you, unfortunately, but that's why we are doing our second segment here. We're going to do our picks. We're going to say the team that we think right now, our Final Four teams. Now, I know that the brackets are getting announced, and let's say 2 of these teams are in the same region. It gets a little complicated that way. But right now, if you could pick any 4 teams from across the country, who would you have going to the Final Four? Fellas, I'll open it up to you.
All right, now, as we stated before, actually, you know what? In my Final Four, I would definitely throw Wichita State in there. I would throw Wichita State in there. 34-0 speaks for itself. Young, determined. Their ambition is pretty much gonna carry them to me. On top of the fact that, I mean, they're making. I can't really say they're not making history. Well, they kind of are making history, in a sense. With the record joining, the UNLV Rebels from 1991 and being undefeated and whatnot. But
if they do win the national championship and go, they would be going 40-0, and they would be the first men's basketball team to go 40-0. So that they would certainly be making history if they do go to the national championship. I think the record for wins in a season is 38, done by the 2012 Kentucky Wildcats, who won the national championship at 38-2. So certainly they would be making history there.
And then, I also would throw Michigan in there, being 23-7, finishing, the Big Ten off with a 15-3 mark, to take the regular season title by 2 games. Although they've lost, 4 out of their first 10 games, we should focus on now and what they're doing now. And right now they have a 6-game win streak going on. So, with the Big Ten championship, that would definitely solidify that number 1 seed, unless any other potential contender emerges. I have those 2. I could also throw Syracuse in there. Jim Boeheim, great coach. I love that zone defense that they play. And, I've always just admired Syracuse coming up in the tournament. I just always admired them. And then also, last but definitely not least, Duke. I have Duke going in there. Jabari Parker. And just, in general, Coach K, great organization. And that's my Final Four.
All right, all good picks. Armand, who do you have playing the first weekend in April?
Sean, you don't have Florida in there?
Oh, me? Oh, no. Initially, but spur of the moment.
No, I'm going to go with Florida. 29-2, like I said. They're a highly efficient shooting ball club. Well, Billy Donovan's done with this team year in, year out, and this year they've just on another level. And where did they get to last year? They got to the Elite 8 last year.
Elite 8 for the
this year. They're going to learn from their mistakes from last year, and they're going to get to the Final Four. My other team is Arizona. I love Arizona. That team, they hustle. They're always on the floor. They're always running in transition. Brandon Ashley, Aaron Gordon, 2 studs in the NCAA, and I feel like they're capable of making a run. Hopefully, they do good this weekend in the Pac-12 tournament. They win that will definitely strengthen their hopes of making the Final Four. My other team, I'm gonna have to agree with you, Sean, on this, is Michigan. Michigan is coming into their own. As you said, they're on a 6-game win streak. They're what, 15-2? No, last 7.
15 and 3 they finished off with.
15-3. So I'm gonna go with Michigan. They're experienced. They won the Big Ten by 3 games, and they're just a great ball club. And the Canadian kid on that team, Stauskas.
Nick Stauskas.
Yeah,
Nick Stauskas.
Nick Stauskas. He's a great player. He's just a determined scorer. He's averaging like 16 or 17 a game. And my final team is gonna be Duke. Jabari Parker, one of the premier players in the NCAA, and one player who I always feel is being overshadowed by Jabari Parker's success in this team and is never credited for all the hard work and big plays he puts in each day in and day out is Rodney Hood. I think he's a really good ball player. His numbers don't lie. He's averaging 16 points a game. In Jabari Parker's shadow, that's pretty good. And I just feel like he's not credited with the amount of successful plays he brings to the table. And yeah, that's my final 4. I do not have Villanova making it. If I could pick a sleeper team, like I said to Ian before, I would pick Crane, but we're not talking about sleeper teams right now.
We will get to sleeper teams in a minute. Let me just say my final 4, and then I will ask each of you guys one sleeper team to make a run at it. Okay. Well, obviously, I have the Florida Gators. I'm going with Armand here. They have the experience. 3 straight Elite Eights. Never count out a Billy Donovan team. He gets them so well prepared that that really they have done so well this year, and they're just going to continue it right into the tournament, and they're going to be playing the first week in April, and that senior class with the 4 of them, but led by Scotty Wilbekin and Patrick Young, they are going to finally get past the Elite Eight and make it to the Final Four. All right, so then joining them, I've got Michigan going with Armand. They went to the championship game last year. They have the experience, and what they've done without Mitch McGarry is absolutely astounding. John Beilein is an exceptional coach to go with this team.
He came in 2007, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's turned them around.
Right. Oh, absolutely. He's done a phenomenal job with this program. I mean, losing Trey Burke, a National Player of the Year last year, then coming back with Mitch McGarry, and then losing him at the beginning of the season. The job that John Beilein has done with this team.
This team is a really good rebounding team too.
Certainly.
They scrap or under the boards.
I mean, they are competitive in every single game.
Yeah.
I just really love this Michigan team. Then another team that I think could go is Arizona. You know, they have a strong resume. I'm not 100% sold on them. Like Michigan and Florida, I'm totally sold on. The next 2 teams, I'm not totally sold on. I have to see how the brackets come out. But I think that Arizona and...
Sometimes I feel like Arizona has a hard time scoring.
Yeah, but
they play really good defense.
Right.
But they score a lot of fast break and transition.
And defense wins championships.
It does.
So I think that's why they could definitely make a run at it to the Final Four. And I think another team that you cannot count out is Louisville. Defending national champions. You know, they have the experience. All their losses have been to ranked teams. They don't have any bad losses. So I think that definitely they're prepared and have the experience, and they could definitely put together 4 straight wins and get to that first weekend in April. So, one sleeper team that I know Armand mentioned Creighton real quick.
I'm just going to say Crane, Doug McDermott, averaging 26.5 points per game, one of the best scorers in this league. I see him as a lottery pick, most definitely, in the NBA draft, and I think Crane, They score really good they are great shooters. Some of the best shooters in the country are on that ball club, and they can score whenever they want.
Sean, you got
Sean,
you got a
real
sleeper?
quick.
Oh, you mean a sleeper team that's gonna make a run, or a team that's gonna get upsetted?
No, make a run.
Sleeper team that's
That's
gonna make
not
a run.
expected.
Oh, a team that's not expected. Okay, let me see. In terms of a team that's not expected. Well, here I actually had I had a team that was gonna get upsetted rather than a team that.
Oh, you can say that.
Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
I was gonna go with.
Was it Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas. I was definitely gonna go with Kansas. I mean,
They could lose in the first round, believe it or not.
they could
really
definitely
could.
lose in the first round. You know, losing the
Their best
freshman
player.
7-footer in Joel Embiid.
Right.
I believe
That's
that's
their
his
best
name.
player.
I mean, that's the X factor for them in the NCAA tournament to me.
Yeah, I mean, just think about Kansas. You know, just recently, Wiggins scored 41 and they lost. So,
Yeah, what does that say?
Yeah, so certainly they.
No supporting cast.
Exactly. And now with Embiid out, I think that's a really good.
You know who's another good sleeper pick? Who's been coming into their own recently? Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Sean Kilpatrick. He's a great player.
you know, Cincinnati actually finished tied for first with Louisville in the ACC
Yeah.
in the AAC.
That
And,
shows some. They're
yeah.
competing with the national champs.
Yeah, so that's a good sleeper pick. My sleeper pick is Michigan State. They've dropped out of the top 25 this week with some recent losses, but
They'll be there. Don't worry.
but as we were saying earlier, never count out a Tom Izzo team.
Yeah.
So we will certainly see how this goes, and I just cannot wait for the brackets to come out and the tournament to start next week. Oh, but anyway, we have to wrap this segment up, and we will be right back with a double dose of our weekly pick'em. So stick around.